Set waves approaching, and on the outside, Toledo ducks in, and he's going to find his way through this one, loading up for a big hoop, sticks it on the roof, somehow brings it down, stays in control. Unbelievable. Just maintained his position so deep on the point here at Burleigh.
He had to stroke into it, tuck straight in, backdoors this section, travel time. And then this wave just funnels down the line, and Toledo just does the hugest alley-oop. And that was one of the most difficult landings I've seen from an alley-oop in a long time. Check the drone vision here. Look at him just drop down into the trough somehow. Julian back in the jersey. Italo on the backhand. We're expecting fast pace, energy from him, and he's not going to let us down. Through to the inside. Great turn. Really vertical attack. This is going to be a monster score for Italo.
Let's get caught up here. Richie, Liam O'Brien lighting this up.
Lobby picked a gem, slicing off the top there. Little layback hack, and then this beautiful finishing turn. And then the point just erupted at this stage of the game. Liam, great opening ride, really.
The board riders culture here, when they've got someone in the event, they go all out. As we continue on with Italo Ferreira. Nice snap to slide. Driving into that tail hook reverse. He is just unstoppable. Already has 15 points, and he still has 20 minutes for more.
Wow.
To build the foundations of his heat score.
And then Italo, Laura.
Wow, this is an absolute heat. He almost lost it there, but then he's like, nah, not today. Got it back. And that was amazing.
To even win a CT the way she did in Fiji as a wild card, you know, it's produced an amazing surfer.
Rolling into this one, we've got Molly Picklum with some room on this open canvas. She'll hit it off the lip line. Clean bottom turn, beautiful snap. Pickles now hitting it off the lip again, finding her flow, and she shuts it down.
Wow, that was a really good wave. Amazing wave selection, and she just tagged that thing.
Where are we going with that one, Flip?
Yeah, I'd agree with Laura. It has to be up in the excellent range. It was a great wave, right? It's an A-grade wave, and when you take off on something like this, you're just thinking, if I just finish this, right, I'm definitely going to be getting an excellent score. The wave was asking for it. You look at all the turns she got here. There were big moments.
What a move by Julian Wilson. That was absolutely incredible. I mean, he was a couple of feet above the lip with that air. God, Jules still got it.
Been on point with his rotations today. As Rio finds some space, throws a huge rotation, a single turn, a big make, greases the landing, and he might just improve on his two-wave total here.
He sure might. Look at the size of this wave. This is way wide. This is a whole different lineup, Ronnie. And as you said, he just lines it up. Just that back leg just gets a bit wider. Perfect setup. Completely, the front leg was just a foot off the board.
And let's see if he can charge up into one of the top two spots here and survive this heat. Oh, strong start. As he loads up for the big finish. Great rotation onto the flats. Those fins grabbing. And he comes rocketing out of the rotation. Maintains great control. 15 minutes to go. 5.1 shouldn't be a problem. Second half of this clash, wanting to get himself elevated. First hit, solid.
So solid first hit. Set it up. You knew he was going to go to the air. Difficult rotation. You had to milk it a little bit. Look at that. That's a world-class turn. That's a point scorer right there. And it's just beautiful technique here.
Whoa, did he flick his leg rope off them?
I think he did, and then he just has spun it right at the end.
Oh, I think his strings come undone. Halfway through the turn, maybe. I think it's one of the best we've seen. We've got some movement in the lineup here. And taking the first ride, it's going to be Molly Picklum drawing off the bottom. Nice carve off the top, ripping it right back into the bowl. There's a nice little section to lay into. She comes through to the inside. Let's see what kind of work she can get done here. That wave cups out.
And then this was the opening exchange from Molly Picklum. Great bottom turn, top turn combination. Straight off the bottom again. Nice clean snap. Keeping that momentum down the line. Great placement of manoeuvres on this wave. And a nice completion there. Nice slow-mo action here. Bonsoy replay. Beautiful carve. You can just see how engaged that inside rail is. That second turn, more release. So some variety in these opening turns here from Molly. Great arm extension there. Really opens up the shoulders. That motion of opening up.
And Bella has to concede. Molly's got the priority and a nice looking bowl here. Again, swift carve in the pocket. Just flying through these rail turns and building beautifully. Kicks the tail. Just keeps accentuating the end of these rides.
With that comes more spray, more impact with these turns. This first carve here, again, those open shoulders, beautiful form and technique. Another nice wrap. Just waited for that millisecond.
Amazing stuff. Was the 2024 Rookie of the Year. Here goes Bettylou now. She had a 5.5 and a 3.73 to kick things off in this heat. She's got some room to move and some of the biggest pocket hits on the championship tour. Here's a nice section for her. Not a lot of spray coming off the rail there. And Bettylou finishing that one off right on the inside in style.
Bonsoy replay. So almost a little fade to start things off. Nice wrap. And as this wave starts to close in on the inside sandbank, Bettylou starts to really attack the lip. Comes around this section again, connects, really opens the wings, gets a ton of spray, and finishes with a nice tail slide. So, again, variety there.
Love
beautiful
this angle.
Connection. Yep, great connection with the lip. Watch how low she gets on the bottom turn. Clicks it. Perfect snap. Comes down again. And this is the one where she really gets that tail slide.
Here's a replay of it. An 8.17, Rich.
Wow, beautiful wave as she stands up. Comes around this first section, connects, carves off the top, straight back on the heel toe and gets to the finish. So a good three-turn combination. The first one, super strong. Really carving off the top there, gets straight on the heel side bottom turn. Another beautiful carve, and then straight up for the third. So
there's the flow from Gilmore. Katie hits it in the pocket. Steph kicks out, and Simmers lights up that open face hook. Hard off the bottom, blasting the lip right in front of Gilmore, and she kicks out.
Oh, there was just so much to digest there. I didn't know where to look. Steph was going, Katie took off. They were absolutely belting it. Classic Steph. You know, we saw those like traditional high lines that we see from her. Katie, just that sheer aggression and power. See the differences, but we go out the back. We watch Katie. I mean, it was a good read by Kipes. I mean, he kind of nailed it, you know, obviously Oceanside beach break. You've got Steph, grew up on the point breaks. Cruzy, really sure-footed as we see Erin.
Erin with a big wind-up, cracks the lip line. Right into a wrapping turn, quickly snapping again. She can load up so quick, and how about the finish? Erin Brooks feeling it. Tail dropped out, but remained in total control. There's that risk management when you see a big section.
Bigger wave face. She strings off a bunch of different turns here, and she's improving with each wave. I mean, she's just getting more and more confident. You can see that. She's pushing harder. This wave, too, was a quality wave. I mean, you can tell straight away. I mean, it's got to be at least a couple points better than the 5.83. I mean, you may be inching up into that excellent range, just the degree of difficulty on the turns. How hard she's pushing. You can see she's not hesitating here too, which I love. And that's the kind of approach that we've, you know, come to know and love from Erin, is that she just does not hold back. And once she gets sort of momentum in a heat and that confidence, she just runs with it. And we're seeing that happen right now.
She'll be really, really aware. Does she build the score? Looks like she's going to try and build on her tally.
Gets a little more stuck into the rail work this time after attempting an error on a previous ride. There's three great turns, bit more committed. It felt like Sal lost her way after getting a good start in this heat.
So Sal, beautiful looking wave here. The section stands up in front of her. Swooping turn to start off. Pivots beautifully off the top with a tail slide, and then that third hammer to finish off. You can almost see a sigh of relief as she hits that closeout section.
I think he has come to Burleigh with a nothing to lose attitude, and he's serving with total freedom.
Running down the point is Yago winner in Portugal this year. Big wind up, going for the full rotation. Unbelievable. And a salute to the ramp section at Burleigh Point to get that torqued out on the rotation on a section of that size.
Incredible, and I was seeing shades of that on this wave. He takes off that point break feel. You could see he was winding up, just generating this speed, and absolutely launches. And just the torque and the spin he was getting on his body, just how fast he was able to propel that board through the air, was super impressive. And like you said, Joey, I mean, the tail gets high there too. It was a big section as well. This is the angle I really wanted to see. We really get to see just how fast he spins, almost the full rotation. So hard on the backhand. But yeah, shades of El Salvador last year.
Beautiful hit there. And chasing him down the line again is Toledo. He's going to steal the spotlight in the biggest possible way. So lofted out, so high, the complete rotation. Toledo has just dropped the biggest air of the year on us and has set the bar at a whole new level.
Bonsoy replay, Filipe just telegraphing here, gets the full rotation. Landed so far up the board, but let's watch the water angle. They'll take to the sky, and just incredible, intuitive aerial maneuvers here.
Look at this replay. Kaipo watching on from the lineup. So much height, Kipes.
That was big.
But if he just pushes a little bit too hard, we'll see the board start disconnecting. We'll see him making mistakes. Here goes Filipe on the inside.
7.8 through in his last wave. So he has work to do himself if he wants to increase his lead here. Beautiful carve, brings it back to the bowl, just showing that just almost unrivaled variation. And again, just so pinpoint accurate with where he places that final turn, unleashes the power, gets some release, and he's just enjoying himself, and it's a good thing to see. Kind of not in a position where he's going to take too much off this requirement. I wonder if that wave's going to do it for him.
Yeah, let's see as well what this wave comes in. You know, if this cracks the 8, then it's going to be so much harder. I mean, a bit sleepy in the middle here, and I think, you know, this is where it felt nice. You know, when you're getting that float and making, you know.
So far, Marco out in front. 6:10 on the clock. He wants his wave. Nice, easy pace. Oh, my goodness. It's bowling up for Mignot. Perfect snap. Hollow section. Throw tail in the flats. What a smooth transition.
What else you want? Stop, man. Come on.
Jason Aparicio is asking the world, are you not entertained? What else do you want to see from this man? I love the passion and fire from the support crew for Marco Mignot.
So it was a small little wave at the start. At this point I was going, oh, what's this thing going to do down the line? And then it cupped out. He just connects with that first turn beautifully, straight up to the closeout section, gets the air rev again. Mate, this guy is so consistent at landing this turn. Beautiful maneuver, just projects off the lip, total control the whole way through it. And even that first snap down the line, not losing any speed, just that transition between those two turns, super fast. Staying nice and low, you can see the front foot right up towards the nose.
It's the claim for me.
You're looking at two surfers who are really on here.
So this is Sammy's wave into the lip here. Smaller wave, had a bit of that fluff on it, but that's the coping that we love to see, and just so fast right now. And this is where I think all the points came from. This big hack to finish. So he loved it. He tagged every moment of that wave and just absolutely went to town. So, there's the scores. 8 across the board from the judges. They loved it. The speed, the flair. He had everything. And, you know, when we can...
True to the inside. A couple of really clean hits. You can hear the Burleigh Board Riders clan, his family and friends getting down here to get behind him. And he gets a solid finish there on the end of that one. It's a classic head. And they're loving it. Burleigh Board Riders, one of the longest running clubs.
Positioned so, you know, wide on the bank, whereas Liam was up in the cove almost when he took off on this one. So different positioning, big jab in the top of the wave there, followed by a second one. This one, you know, it had longevity. It had, you know, just that sort of, he picked off a little a little sidewinder. He gets this little finish here. I mean, he wasn't done yet too. There's more work to be done for Liam. You can hear everyone on the hill just going crazy for that. I mean, this is already off to a great start, this heat. That first turn, just the carve into the tail release, the slide there. I mean, this is going to be so sick to watch this score unload. I mean, the 1-2 between Griff and Liam, it's already shaping up to be a sick heat, Ronnie.
It is. It sure is. Two surfers that keep their rails clean. Their timing's always spot on. You know, Liam O'Brien, Richie Lovett's been commenting about Liam this year.
Put him in the first place.
Important ride for Toledo, ramping up. Big full rotation. Toledo gets an enormous landing. And his support crew is losing it.
Talk about turning a heat, Joe. This is unbelievable. Just one huge move right out there into the flats. Landed perfect. I think the landing really gave him the big points.
And just gigantic rotation. That's the fire that Filipe Toledo wanted to feel, Bugs.
Oh, he sure did. Look at the speed he attacks this with. Lightning rotation.
Quite a height to fall from, and he landed straight in the chunkiest section of the impact zone. Morgan on the outside now. Crack. Pinpoint hit. A couple of them. A great combo to kick things off. Maybe one of the most powerful combos we've seen on the outside. And now driving through to the middle section of the wave. Let's go of the carve. If he finishes this one off, we could see this score go excellent. Building for a big finish down the line. Loads up. Throws the tail. Gets out in front of it. And the body language suggests that he is loving life.
That is as good as you'll see a wave dismembered. It was just full on through the lip.
Everything that Morgan did on this ride, we would have been saying, oh, it was really solid surfing. It's excellent surfing, but the wrist from Seth was huge. Those first two hits were remarkable.
They are, yeah, I just think they're almost knockout blows in terms of just full connection. Not so much in the context of the heat, but like the way that he loaded up, the way that he just attacks, it is excellent surfing. It's got to go there.
Yeah, just watching Seth at the moment chip away at this one on the wide shot. Zooming in now and see him cut back. This is a better looking wave for Seth. Wants a big finish on this one. It's going to split for a moment, but he's got some speed. And he's going to duck into the barrel and find some cover. We love that. And then a big flare up on the finish. Moniz answers back, throws the hand up. Didn't he connect well, getting a bit of cover, and then the finish, Vorna, it was really unpredictable.
First turn was sick. That was a nice big through the lip re-entry with a bit of tail slide. Gets another snap. And then, yeah, you can see that he's just really working the board over. You know, he's putting the rail to work here, slices back. At this point, you're thinking, oh, what is this wave going to do for him? What a bummer. And then he just gets the little kink, finds this cute little bit of viz, and then pops it heavily on the back of that little section.
Dust off the
just a really strong finish for a wave that for a split second didn't look like it was going to give him much to really claim at the end there.
I love that.
Winding up. Big slump punch. How about that? Julian Wilson still has some room. Oh my goodness. That was giant. And then he'll just put it away. Talk about aggressive combinations.
Let's have a look. So takes off on this one. He obviously is eyeing off this section, waiting for it to grow, waiting for the perfect moment. Launches into the universe. It's got so much height. Let's have a look from this angle. You can really see just how lofty it is, how much height he got, the distance he traveled. This thing was incredible, and I just love that he just went for the big straight slob. Like, I think it just speaks to the degree of difficulty, the arsenal of like that he has, you know, that he can go to. It's not all just the air reverse. There's so much more to Julian. That was absolutely incredible.
Insane. And then just tracking down the end section to slam it, knowing that he's in this game.
I mean, in the Rip Curl Pro, and even though he lost that one, it was amazing.
Here he goes. Nice clean conditions this afternoon here. A beautiful Friday afternoon at Burleigh, and Chianca making the most of it. That first section, it was solid. And he delivered big time. Nice, smooth approach. Great combination to finish. And this is a guy that can clean things up. And I think against Jordy, he realises that he's got to really keep that flow in mind.
You know, a couple of feet of the tide onto the good face.
Oh, what a fun wave to surf, and just blasts through the lip on that first turn. A nice wrap on the second. Quick re-entry, and then that final turn just to get up and on the roof of that thing. Magician-like. Great angle here where you see the tails kick of the surfboard kick free out through the lip. So that really just shows that extension above the wave. And again, beautiful angle where you can see that fan of spray. But you're right, Ron. He tamed the body movement and a little bit on this wave, and really connected with a lot of flow.
Yeah, you're right there. That wave of Chianca is going to go beyond the 5.5 even. It's going to go up to the 6.17. So this makes the requirement that much more, Rick.
Conditions looking nice and clean. Live action. Jordy racing down the line. There's a solid combo from the big South African who hammers the final section. Does well to stay on his feet. Pumps the fist. We got a heat on our hands.
Oh, yeah. Here we go. Here we go.
What a wave this is, Rick.
Oh, beautiful line standing up in front of him. Jordy just floats over that first section, comes out of it with so much speed, and just throws down the big hammer carve. Gets to that finishing manoeuvre, completely blows the tail out, and he was almost out of control for a second there on this final move. But just so much speed into this cut, and not easy with all that turbulence and froth on the wave face, but the big man just keeping that rail wet, keeping it sunk into the face of the wave, and that big blowtail.
With Chianca and Smith going at it, and both have an excellent score on the board already. Jordy tucking into the barrel, locked in, he'll come out. Drives out on the open face, gets some release in the tail. Really clicking here at Burleigh Heads on a Friday afternoon, and he'll get a big finish as well. And a flex. You think he still wants it, you know he does. Clean conditions.
Oh, he just fell down that little step and engaged so quickly. Got a great line through that barrel, and then just does some great work down the line here, connecting, weaving off the tops. And his final finishing turn again, didn't over push it. He knew that if he just put that exclamation mark on it, the judges were going to eat it up. Check the drop in here, Rab.
Yeah, it's a beautiful drop in, and he just backdoored that section. This is a phenomenal little Burleigh barrel. And then he came out and finished off deep barrel.
Yeah, the barrel of the event. Nice cover, came out and really got on the attack, drifted the fins, right on the bowl there, Rick, and then great variation.
Yeah, just gave us a bit of everything on this one. And watch him as he goes into this final turn here, does a little full shift of the body, upper arm movement, and then comes out and flexes.
He might have put the heat away.
Well, maybe. 3 minutes to go here. The conditions looking pretty nice. Chianca, he's a good barrel rider. He finds some cover. This one's gutting out. And he comes flying through. Tricky wall to work with, though. A lot of foam on the face here. And Chianca throws a figure up to the sky. No, you're chasing a big score, but you didn't get to see what your rival did on their wave. Here it is again from the drone angle.
It was deep. It was certainly deep, no doubt about it. And he does get that little hit off the top. And that was a difficult section to end up with. And then the extended claim to the sky, the water angle bugs. What do you think?
Yeah, look at this cascading section right here. There's a lot of chandelier in that, and then it just opens up. It's a gaping barrel at the end.
Yeah, definitely. It was for sure bigger than Jordy's. And he had more travel time than Jordy's, deep in it there, dragging both his hands in the wall, trying to slow down. Now he lets it go, and then that puts the accelerator on, allows him to come out.
Proper barrel.
This is the 18th year that we've been able to enjoy watching Jordy Smith perform, but Joao Chianca, Liam O'Brien up against Kanoa Igarashi, and making a move on the inside here. Here's the surfer representing Japan. Puts the brakes on, stalls for the pit, gets some cover, gunning through it. and punches his way out. We've already seen some big scores in the previous heat for good barrel rides, and that was one of the deepest. And he lets the crowd know that he likes it. What a start for Igarashi.
Not the clean one, but you can tell as he dropped in, this wave is bottoming out, Rick.
Yeah, he just sets it up, kicks on the tail, does the stall. Now he puts on the gas, comes through this section here. Foamy little exit, and as you said, Bugs, it wasn't like the prettiest of barrels, but geez, he was locked in for a while.
Gave the lip a cloud on the way out too.
But there's a part here where we will see from the water that right here, he is about 15 feet behind the barrel, right there. That is
deep.
That is 2 or 3 board lengths behind.
Yep.
Yeah,
well,
so technical.
Yeah, he disappeared, and when you completely disappear from view, it means you are really locked in. You're at that very, very section of the wave where it's all turbulent, and you're still just trying to keep that board locked into the wave face. Kanoa fights out, comes out well, and then, yeah, Ronnie, to your point, tags it, gets a little release, nice wrap, so weren't justified for the waves that he was riding. That's all. Here we go, Kanoa.
Big hit on the left to get started for Kanoa, who seems full of confidence at the moment. Has really thread the opening stages of this ride together beautifully. And there is a really solid start.
Well, you got to say to Vaughan, good luck at Burleigh.
Have a look at how just precise these hits were and the momentum he carried throughout this ride.
Oh, man, he is just so on point, this guy. Just that final manoeuvre.
But this is by far the best barrel. So deep, had multiple sections, and Liam read it to perfection.
He really read it to perfection because he pumped to get into this first part. The next part went in slow-mo, Rick. Take us through it.
Oh, you can just see he's locked in, that front arm just poised in front of him, pointing out towards the exit, the back arm dragging, controlling the speed like an accelerator, off the brake, on the accelerator, and then he just pops out. The end of that little barrel had some serious travel time on the DHD Juliet model. Comes out, nice clean snap, and finishes off as the wave closes out behind him.
Most dramatic and emotional for the surfers as we look at Bettylou moving quickly. Nice tag there. Little out in front of that hollow part of the wave, but it probably felt good, and she just drills the finish. What a cool style, great approach. Burleigh Heads providing little racetracks over the sandbar.
It's going to start draining. Look at this wave. It's perfect. She hits it right there, and then it hits this section where it really starts to line up. You can see her just adjusting for that little barrel section. She gets the finish. So she's going to back up this 733 beautifully right now as we look at this angle, Bugs.
Yeah, this angle's awesome. Snaps there, and right here, it hollows out. She grabs the wall, but she's got so much speed. She's looking down the line. She needs the finish. So that's where you sometimes sacrifice. She got a little bit of tube time there, but she's still looking down the line, and her finishes have been superb.
Sublime, and then the answer here, Laura, from Erin is all aggression on the opening section.
Yeah, this was precision timing. This is some of her best surfing right here. I think she knew she had to go out and find these pockets and just go beyond vert, because that combo right there, that has put her into the excellent range and is an absolute... This is how she needs to answer to Steph today. Beyond vert, kicks the tail. So much power for such a little pocket rocket, and into this next combo. So that's exactly what Erin needed to do, just go.
Well, we had this one during the break. Erin Brooks exploding on the opening turn here, Rich.
Oh, my goodness. Just this backhand attack starting to wind up here. She is really starting to get in sync with these waves of Burleigh Heads. Just tightening up the backhand attack.
Whoa.
He looks like he's chasing something down the line. So he looks pretty interested in this thing, Filipe.
Filipe with priority will take it, though. A lot of speed. It's starting to bowl up. Two-time world champ ramps up. Big full rotation. Not just a defensive move, turning it into a big moment once again.
Absolutely epic. Look at him load up here. It was a blocking defensive move. And he goes, thanks, I'm going to take this and I'm going to improve on my situation. Full rotation. Just such a smooth landing, too. He just picked the eyes out of that tail high. And the awareness for his landing is really cool to watch.
where he calls up Mick Fanning for a surf, and Mick answers the phone. He's like, who? And that was just kind of the premise of the whole video. Here's Alejo Muniz flying through the whitewater. Big section, just crushes it. Holds the bottom turn, lays it out on the open face. Alejo locking in some magic and rhythm here at Burleigh Heads.
Let's have a look here. So Morgs looks interested, too deep. Alejo says thank you very much. Bit of a foamy takeoff, but he gets around it, no problems. Good wave selection here. You can just see this thing bowling up. The variety on this wave I loved. I mean, there was a lot of it, right? You got the snap, you got the float, you got the jam like that in the pocket, and then finishes so strong. He's going to be locking in a good score, and he's going to be putting a lot more distance between himself and Morgs right now. I just love it. The moment a wave started strong and finished strong, it just has such a positive sort of idea in the judges' minds, and you can see Alejo's absolutely frothing.
In vogue through this event. Jordy pumping down the line here, starts to work up for something, takes to the air, gets the little slob grab. So it's really getting into fashion, these slob grab airs, and Jordy goes for the spin right at the end as well. Geez, he did so well to even maintain enough speed to ride out.
10.5 minutes to go, and Alejo's making his move, identifying this wave as potentially the one that's going to help him break combination. Nice cut down. This section stands up, bit of foam on the face he's got to deal with, but it is a great wave. He's chosen wisely, and he's going to get a clean finish here. Solid surfing, and a pretty good chance that that one is going to help him break the combo. He knows this is going to be a tough one for Alejo to survive, but he can appreciate the effort on this ride. Beautiful start.
Yeah, great carb to start things off. The wave gets a little untidy here, and then he finds that open face again. A vertical hit, and then a big closeout re-entry. Love that hack there. So much power. This is what this guy does. He's got this wider stance, and it really allows him to dig in and stay super low to the board. See there, just a little weightless airdrop. Julian Wilson. Let's see what Jules did at the start of this heat. Pulls in, backdoors this section. Travel time down the line, gets the alley-oop, pulls it off. So Jules starts with a super strong wave here. Roundhouse cutty, stays with the power source. Couple of little more connections down the line, a layback hack. This thing's still giving him opportunity down the line.
Up with Bettylou now, getting that first arc in the pocket. Starting to bowl out, jams it under the lip, passing Fitzgibbons. She's punching that one out. Bettylou putting together a series of big turns, and she will ride away. Quickly, we'll catch up with Julian Wilson with Laura Enever. Big interviews throughout this event, but now he's going, hang on. Now I've got a new goal that's popped right in front of my face. What a wave from Bettylou.
Oh, what an opener. Just continuing. You know, she has been one of the performers throughout the whole event. Sort of had that momentum, but started off with this wave, and it was an absolute gem. To speak to what Jules was saying, that tide's filling in, and it is only getting better and better. Look at the shape of this wave. Look at the draw off the bank. She's just placing her turn.
Now Toledo's got the attention of the crowd. Lands a full road.
To this final event. Toledo takes to the air, gets the spin, complete rotation. A buttery landing out onto the flats. Keeps that forward, nice and horizontal through the spin.
Looks like Filipe wants to take a look. Julian will end up rolling in. He's driving, he's hoping for another wedge. First turn, snaps it off the lip, traveling down the line, ready to ramp up. He's on the wind-up, big section, slob reverse!
To have lifted, little hiccup on the first wave, but let's see what happened on this second one. Streaking down the line, a beautiful top turn as he just hunts for speed. Looking for the section, it looms up in front of him. He gets the grab, gets engulfed in the whitewash and emerges. Incredible technique here, gets the slob grab, lets it go and disappears from...
Well deserved, but meanwhile Filipe went to Hammer Town on this last wave.
Oh, long pit. Geez, he was in that for some time. and then just karate chops that section, just dissects it in half, and then pumps his way through to this little inside, gets the foam climb. But wow, watch this backdoor barrel. Bugs.
Full on barrel. The tides come in, there's still barrels out there, Rick. And this here, what a searing move, an 8.53.
That was out of control. That barrel is insane. That turn to come out of it. Filipe is the one with priority, so he can keep Julian off these waves. He'll let Wilson go. Pushing hard in that first carve, looking great on it. Wilson hits the lip with the fin throw. Great start. Third turn is a big whip into reverse.
Oh, some venom. There was some venom in that climb. And I think Jules perhaps a little, well, let's call it, perhaps a little upset with some of those numbers that dropped.
As we look at this last wave, Bugs.
Yeah, well, Julian streaking down the line. Beautiful snap, slashing turn there. Another one over the back of the wave, the full lip line. And he just makes the classic appeal, Rick.
Yeah, watch this power carve down here for the first one. Just driving through that turn, compresses, gets low, springs into this next one, gets the tail release, maintains control, and then gets to this third maneuver. Complete blow tail air reverse comes out. We'll get a close-up of the claim here. Maybe perhaps more of a signal than a claim in this moment. And then Jules outside.
Rolling right into this thing. Julian first turn, belts the lip. Holds the rail, crushes it again. Out in front, big craft. Still with some room on the end section. He whips it through. It's going a little bit flat, but he's got some speed. Puts together another big hack. Feeding off the crowd of Burleigh Heads. So right there, Julian Wilson was able to get priority and got this wave.
Yeah, so he's detonated the lip on those first two turns. Gets a little sliding cutback, comes in here, little tail throw. And he works this one down the line, gets to this finishing moment, and hammers that final section. It's the first two turns, Bugs, that had all the impact.
Yeah, that's what these first turns on the open face, huge turns. And then the wave goes a bit softer, he goes into a nice wrap. A little double up on this wave.